Alright, you guys are in for a treat. We've got a lot to break down here. A film about time travel, the past, the present, the future. So let's just get right into it. The movie starts off in 2008 with this lady being like, "Hey sir, your son is in the lobby waiting. He said you guys were planning on going on holiday this weekend." Dad's like, "Yeah, I'm in a business meeting right now that's going to earn me 60 million in cash. Tell my son to fuck off."
You must know he didn't mean it.
Son has a major sulk and takes his dad's favorite car out for a spin.
मैं उसके silly weekend trip के लिए अपना $60 million का takeover रोक नहीं सकता.
This dude is literally having a cry that his dad would rather close out a $60 million deal than go on vacation with him.
Sir, Karan has taken your car.
Not the engine. What are you doing with my car?
Get out my car!
That's my favorite car, Karan. You come back to the office right now.
मैं ऑफिस आया था डैड.
मैं busy था उस time पे.
अब मैं हूँ.
He crashes his dad's favorite car to teach him a lesson. No one chooses $60 million over spending a day with me. Dad's like, "God damn it, son, why are you fucking griefing me?"
Honestly, I'm tired of you. You are 23 years old.
Son gives a cliche monologue of not getting enough attention. Dad's like, "You literally trash my things. Why would I want to hang out with a fucking psycho like you?"
Good night, Dad.
Son goes outside and starts speaking to his dead mother casually.
मत हिलाओ करण. Get a haircut for Christ's sake.
His mates show up.
Hey, Karan, my man. What's up, mate?
Guess what? Tickets for the Adelaide Extreme Sports Fun.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
Let's see what it says. Uh-huh. 1 week of certified fun for Mr. Karan Malhotra starting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
No wonder this cunt's depressed. Just look at the people he hangs out with.
9 a.m.
Tomorrow morning, Sulky Boy's out for a jog but stops for a casual perv. Cut to random heartbreak taking place.
Sheena, I don't want you here. Just go.
She's like, "Wham, my boyfriend's gonna break up with me." Her friend's like, "Damn, didn't that other guy break up with you last month as well?" She's like, "Cheers, thanks for the support." Friend's like, "Why is he gonna break up with you?" She's like, "Because he says I'm bad luck. If he loses this race today, he said we're done." She's like, "No problem, that's easy to solve."
या तो वो इस रेस में पार्टिसिपेट करेगा ही नहीं, और अगर करेगा तो उसे जीतना पड़ेगा.
Love how the logical step they take here is, "Oh, let's just make sure he wins the race," instead of her being like, "Ditch that superstitious cunt." She's like, "There, buy the bike, go speak to him and make sure he wins the race so I keep my boyfriend." But plot twist, she mixes them up and talks to Sulky Boy instead. Who could have ever seen this coming? She's like, "Sheila sent me." He's like, "Yeah, sure." Sulky Boy just goes along with it because he's trying to get laid. She's like, "Please win this race." He's like, "What's in it for me?" She's like, "I'll spend a night with you." He's like,
Promise.
what a fucking fake friend trying to steal her best friend's man. Sheila's like, "Do you think my boyfriend's cute?" She's like, "Yeah, he kind of actually is, lol."
I'm proud of you.
Meanwhile, Sulky Boy's mates are like, "Why the fuck are you entering this extreme sports race? You've never ridden a bike in your life." He's like, "I don't know, I might get laid." His mates are like, "Fair enough, say no more." Extreme sports race starts off. Aussie dude's like, "Piss off." That, my friends, is the power of the potential of getting laid. Just in a matter of minutes, the thought of getting laid has turned this boy from a simp who's never entered a race in his life into a backflipping superstar. Sheila's like, "Why the fuck are you cheering? That's not my boyfriend." She's like, "Fuck, I fell for the old switcheroo, my bad." Sulky Boy's like, "Man, I can't find that girl." Boys are like, "Which girl?" He's like, "You know, the one that gave me magical powers that allowed me to instantly win this race." Meanwhile, the girls go on a roller coaster. Sulky Boy sees her and follows them. He climbs onto the roller coaster.
What the hell are you doing here? Operator, can you get him off, please?
I can't stop it. We've got to go around.
एक डेट ही तो मांग रहा हूँ. All in the name of love.
Please, I don't go out with strangers, okay?
All right then. Karan, age 23, from Sydney. Current status single and waiting.
He's so adorable. He's so adorable.
There's so much wrong with this that I don't even know what to say.
How would you like to spend the evening, Miss Sana?
Not with you, Mr. Karan.
Cut to the next day and his mates are like, "Hey man, you know that girl you met once and now you're obsessed with? Well, she's in that bus over there." Sulky Boy gaps it, but then...
I'm sorry, guys.
You just dropping chips, mate. You just dropping chips, mate.
Sulky Boy jukes the shit out of them because apparently along with being a mountain biking champion, he's also the king of parkour.
Peace, guys. Sorry.
He follows her back to her house and she's like,
तुम आखिर चाहते क्या हो?
he's like, I want you.
Listen. मैंने जब से तुम्हें देखा है मुझे हर जगह हर चीज सिर्फ तुम ही दिखाई देती हो यहाँ तक कि शीशे में मुझे अपनी शक्ल नहीं तुम्हारी शक्ल दिखाई देती है
No, this is setting a terrible example because I know there's just going to be some dude out there that's like, chase down bus, tick. Jump off bridge, tick. Follow girl to her house, tick. Tell her I see her face in every reflective object, tick. Time to get laid.
आज शाम को फ्री हो?
Yes, 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 she said yes. Ah, life is good, life is great.
Cut to the date and Sulky Boy is pitching himself to his girl like he's a movie script.
1, you should be smart and sexy. 2, उसके मसल मसल होने चाहिए.
Cut to the next day and I swear I'm having deja vu because this dude's out here begging for another date and she's like, yeah, alright, I guess we can go on another date.
Yes, 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 again.
She said yes again.
Yeah.
Lovely.
You're my lucky charm.
I feel bad for this old lady, man. She probably told her family, she's like, oh, I got put into a $10 million production. And then she shows up and this is the role she has to play.
The biggest Bollywood film ever made in Australia has begun shooting in Adelaide.
Action!
Movie with a budget of around $10 million.
That's a pretty big film. Yes, that's a very big film. The biggest Bollywood film ever to be shot.
On their date, he's like, hey, let's do something wild, like shoplifting.
You mean stealing?
He's like, nah, not stealing, more like taking something home without paying for it, you know? He points at the women's lingerie store and is like, why don't we steal from there? That's my usual go-to spot.
Are you crazy?
He's like, fine, you choose the shop. They walk into the $2 shop, she channels Winona Ryder and proceeds with committing the crime. They run outside, she's like, oh my god, that was so much fun. He's like, see, I told you.
He's so cute. Winky Dinks, Karan ko hi bolo. Hi, Karan.
Hi.
Winky Dinks, Karan ko kiss karna hai? Yes. Ooh.
How sweet. Winky Dinks.
What the fuck am I watching? I've never said this before, but I think this movie's gonna fucking break me. Aussie man spots them and comes running in.
Bloody shoplifters. Ah, ah.
She's like, we did something fun you wanted me to do. Now it's time for something fun I want you to do. Like read poetry. He's like, lol, fuck that. She's like,
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, can you please come closer? This gentleman over here is going to recite some meaningful poetry for us. Karan Malhotra from Sydney, age 23. Current status single and finally futtering.
he tries out some TikTok dances for the crowd, but it doesn't really work out. Cut to mechanical bull riding montage. They go outside and Sulky Boy serenades some Aussie dudes. Then the camera randomly cuts to a bunch of Aboriginals. Bro, you can't do that. How did Priyanka not get cancelled for this scene alone? He walks her home after a hard day of dancing with the indigenous people of Australia. She's like, oh, by the way, I'm leaving tomorrow at this train station. And he's like, oh, cool. It was nice knowing you then, I guess. Cut to tomorrow and she's waiting by the train for Sulky Boy to stop her from leaving, but he's not showing up.
Ma'am, if you're boarding this train, we're about to leave.
He's like, wow, maybe I shouldn't have put all my eggs in the predicting he would show up randomly and stop me basket. Plot twist, Sulky Boy did show up to stop her, but he just didn't run fast enough. And this is a great example on why everyone should work on their cardio. It's not just about burning fat, it's about being able to run fast enough to stop the girl you like from boarding a train to Neverland. All hope is lost since he doesn't know which exact train she went on, but then boom, out of nowhere, Gandalf sends him a butterfly to show him the way.
Stratham.
He's like, wow, thanks Gandalf. He drives to the town the girl's in, and on the way he rings assistant lady like, hey, I'm gonna go stay with my uncle for a couple of days because he lives in the same town as the girl of my dreams. Assistant lady is like, what the fuck, you have an uncle? He's like, yeah, he's the greatest scientist in the world. Ever heard of him? Duh.
The greatest scientist in the world.
Yeah.
He rocks up to the house.
So what brings you here?
He's like, I met this girl last week and now I'm obsessed with her. Uncle's like, say no more fam. What's her name?
Sana.
Sana!
He's like, problem is, she's somewhere in this town, but I don't know how to find her. Uncle's like, just roam the streets endlessly until you run into her. Cut to him roaming the streets endlessly until he runs into her. This shot right here got me more emotional than anything else in this movie. Pour one out for Video Easy. My entire childhood consisted of getting games from this place. Like this movie, May it rest in peace. Cut to Dear Diary.
Winky Dinks to pagal hai na?
No, Winky Dinks isn't the crazy one. You are for talking to an inanimate object.
Kya phir main hi pagal hu?
Yes. Cut to Uncle and he's like, for the last 15 years I've been working tirelessly on my invention.
Time machine.
A time machine.
And at this point, it all makes sense where they ripped this character from.
The time continuum has been disrupted.
All I need is a little bit of luck.
Good luck, uncle. Good luck.
Good luck to you too.
I don't need luck. I have love.
Sulky Boy is back on the street conducting a survey. He's like, excuse me, where can I find a GF? It starts raining and by some miracle of the Lord, he sees the girl in the rain. Cut to some new character introductions. Now we've seen...
Alright.
Now get ready for...
Always.
Turns out this is the girl's mother and all her mates are talking shit about how she's not married yet. They're like, bro, your daughter's 22 years old. She's practically expired. How have you not gotten her married off yet? Mum's like, you know, she's picky. Then one of her mates just comes out and says, what if she's gay? Mum freaks out and shows her true homophobic nature. Cut to our star-crossed lovers finally united. Mum runs in and she's like, thank fuck she's seeing a boy. Thank you for listening to my prayers, Lord. Mum invites him over for dinner. She's desperate. Anything to keep her daughter straight. Cut to Sulky Boy showing up for dinner. Gil's little siblings are like, let's fuck with her new boyfriend. I don't know what kind of fucking modded Xbox controller that is, that it has the power to turn on sprinklers. At the dinner table, Mum is like, alright, let's just cut to the serious part. What's your date of birth and time of birth? If your horoscope doesn't match our daughter's, I'm sorry, but there's no way you're gonna marry her. He's like, yeah, that makes sense, I'll tell you.
30 November 1984. Sham 8:25.
He's like, you know, my uncle reads horoscopes, you can meet with him. Mum's like, oh, great. Cut to the meeting between Mum and Uncle Doc Brown. He's like, hang on, let me just Google Pisces plus Scorpio and see if this relationship is gonna work. Meanwhile, Sulky Boy and Girl are roaming around Uncle's house. She's like, what's all this weird shit? He's like, oh, my uncle's a scientist working on time travel. She's like, what?
यहाँ एक time machine hai. In the past, in the future.
How can it be real?
Of course it's real. Uncle Ya is the coolest scientist in the world.
He really sold the point there.
Coolest scientist in the world.
She bumps into the blackboard and accidentally rubs out part of the equation. She's like, fuck, Doc Brown's gonna kill me. What part did I rub out? He's like, I don't know. So she draws an infinity symbol and then they leave. How crazy would it be if her bumping into that equation ends up being the way Indian Doc Brown invents time travel? That would be insane. Sulky Boy's like, here, I'll show you what my uncle's come up with so far.
Does it work?
Well, you know, depends.
On what?
They get into the time machine. Sulky Boy continues to be a creep.
Could you turn the button on? So, Sunshine, what time, what place?
Mumbai. जहाँ मैं पैदा हुई थी.
Mumbai, 1986. Excellent choice. Finally, मैं तुम्हें बिना कपड़ों के देख सकता हूँ. Yippee!
This guy just flat out admit to being a fucking pedophile?
Finally, मैं तुम्हें बिना कपड़ों के देख सकता हूँ. Yippee!
She's like, yeah, nah, you just put me off going to the past, so let's just go to the future.
Mumbai and the year. Year to type karo.
She's like, how far in the future do I want to go? Let's go super far.
So you want to go to Mumbai 2050?
Yeah.
But just before they can see it through, Uncle shows up. He's like, what the fuck are you cunts doing? Get the fuck out of my lab.
Get out of my lab!
Cut to them driving home and Gil tells him to pull over.
I want ice cream right now.
He's like, it's fucking 4 degrees outside. She's like, wow, and here I was thinking you were a tough boy. What happened to shoplifting? He's like, that was before I fell in love and had something to lose.
I want to take care of myself. मैं जीना चाहता हूँ सना, बहुत जीना चाहता हूँ, इतना कि बुढ़ा होके तुम्हारी बाहों में मरना चाहता हूँ. I want to live forever.
That's by far the most romantic thing you've ever said.
Who the fuck wrote the dialogue for this movie? Kill me.
Well, Mr. Malhotra, you just wait right here, because you are going to be kissed very shortly.
Come on, waiting for my cold kiss.
Plot twist.
Right up your hairy ass.
Oh God! Somebody help!
I love you, Maran.
Cut to Sulky Boy having the biggest sulk of his life, but at least this time it's justified. Doc Brown is like, look, I was trying to be a bro and get you laid, but truth is, when I punched your star signs into Google, it told me that you guys weren't compatible. So it was only a matter of time before you got her killed. It's time to move on, son. Sulky Boy starts ugly crying.
This is not fair, Kriya. This is not fair. This is not fair.
Cut to Doc Brown walking past the blackboard and he's like, of course, how could I have not seen it before? The secret to time travel is C² infinity. He runs to the time machine and draws the infinity symbol.
It works! It works! Yes, it works! I can't believe it works!
Doc's like, bro, we can bring your GF back from the dead. Just go back a couple days and don't pull over for ice cream. Sulky Boy's like, wow, does this mean I won't die a virgin? Doc's like, no, my man. I invented time travel for the sole purpose of getting you laid. They get into the time machine and Doc's like, okay, scratch that. You might end up dying a virgin because the machine is locked on the year 2050. Sulky Boy's like, that's what the girl typed in. Maybe this all means something. I say we go to 2050 and check it out. Doc's like, we only get 30 days before the machine time travels back, so we gotta do this quick smart.
Good luck.
I don't need luck, Uncle. I have love.
I love how Doc Brown's lab, which is supposed to be an hour away from Adelaide, just teleported to the top of Queensland. They arrive in 2050 and he's like, holy shit, let's do this. But wait, the kids are here too. They're like, sorry, we snuck into the time machine when you guys weren't looking because we miss our big sister. They're like, aw, cute. But then out of nowhere, a Tesla flies over their heads. They take a proper look at Mumbai in 2050 and the future is fucking bright, my friends. Flying cars, futuristic structures.
I'm here, Sana. I'm here to take you back.
Gee, I really look forward to going to India in just 30 years when Mumbai looks like fucking Coruscant from Star Wars. 2050 Indian security is like, just detected a breach in the fabric of space and time. We need to find where it came from. Worker lady is like, I'm trying, but then their supervisor gives them some words of encouragement.
Find it, so don't try. Just do or die.
Cut to the gang and they're running from the popo. They end up in this weird droid factory. This random robot touches Sulky Boy and he's like, holy shit. Uncle is like, are you okay, son? He's like, yeah, I'm fine, Uncle, but what is this thing? Uncle's like, this, my son, is the Fuckmaster 3000 limited pink edition, equipped with 5 oscillators that provide 3-point pulsation. Also included are 18 programmable buttons and a reusable cum tray to top it all off.
Jesus Christ.
Sulky Boy's like, do you think you could rewire this thing so we could use it as a battle droid? Uncle's like, meh, alright. He rewires the robot. Sulky Boy is like, what should we call you?
Cutie.
Yeah.
Cut to what taxis are going to look like in just 30 years. Robo Girl is like, you guys can hide here. This is where my old owners used to live. Holographic Indian maid shows up. She's like, hey guys, whenever you need someone to vacuum the house, just give us a call, yeah? My hologram will do the trick. Cut to the gang getting fake ID so they can hit the clubs. Glad to see some things don't change. Cut to them roaming around town and looking at what advertising looks like in 2050.
Have your honeymoon on the moon. See you on the moon.
Is colonization gonna make a fucking comeback in 30 years? Because majority of these people in Mumbai are white. Nice to see some traditions of the motherland still going strong. Robo Girl is like, you know, finding a girl that looks exactly like your ex from another time dimension is turning out to be harder than I thought. But when in doubt, Gandalf and his butterflies to the rescue. Sulky Boy is like, oh my god, that's her. Robo Girl is like, oh, that's Zaisha.
ये जायशा है, pop star, rock star, superstar Zaisha.
Fucking hell, Zaisha's got quite the CV. Sulky Boy is like, where can I find her? Robo Girl is like, at her concerts, duh. She performs for the whole city via hologram in the sky. Cut to Zaisha beginning her concert.
Hey, you lover boy, will you be my toy? Hey, you lover boy, will you be my toy? Hey, you lover boy, will you be my toy?
Oh my dear god, what the fuck happened to music in 2050 if this is what a global superstar sounds like?
Will you be my toy?
Cut to Zaisha looking like Josh in a wig walking down some stairs to greet all her fans after such an amazing performance. Sulky Boy pushes through the crowd and whispers her name. She ends up flying away. Cut to Zaisha's house and more displays of 2050 technology.
Activate the mirrors, please. Boo!
Hiya, T-Bell.
मेरा टी लेकर आओ. So late.
Ooh,
That thing is fucking terrifying.
Booty.
Cut to this random huge tower and we're finally introduced to the villain of this movie, Dr. Hoshi, 3/4 of the way in. I just actually cut. I actually fucking cut. That right there is the best way to introduce a villain. Dr. Hoshi's like, I have one purpose in life, and that's to use a time machine. And I've just been informed a time machine entered our dimension earlier. I want that time machine.
The time machine is here. Go, find them.
Cut to Sulky Boy showing up to the celebrity game show about who knows our superstar the best.
Hi Zaisha, I'm Bugs.
तुम्हारा सवाल, जायशा का फेवरेट कलर कौन सा है?
Our favorite color, silver.
Poor Bugs, you're squashed.
She finally picks Sulky Boy. He walks into the spotlight. He's like, before we begin, can I just ask you one question? Who is Zaisha?
I'll answer it. Zaisha's tomorrow's woman that yesterday spoke about. She's a mystery. She's an enigma.
Who the fuck describes themselves that way?
Tomorrow's woman that yesterday spoke about.
Hey, come to my house tomorrow to play some video games. He's like, okay, cool beans. Cut to tomorrow.
Game over. Zaisha wins.
Zaisha rules! Get out of here!
Someone please clip this entire movie and just send it to fucking Nick Jonas. He needs to see this.
Come on, who's the next loser? Let's go!
I also love how in 2050, Xbox 360 is gonna make a comeback, even though the console's been dead for years. They really thought this movie through, man.
Wanna try me?
She's like, have you ever played this game before? He's like, nah, but I've never ridden a bike before either, and I still won a mountain biking championship, so how hard can this be? They proceed to show us the future of online gaming.
Good luck, lover boy.
I don't need luck. I have love.
If this cunt says that stupid line one more time, I'm fucking logging off. Sulky Boy gets his ass kicked, cut to the club.
What? The party's over?
The serenading begins. Love Story 2050 is finally in bloom. Sulky Boy takes her home to meet the fam. Little kids lose their shit. Cut to Uncle getting cozy with the robot after everyone leaves. Sulky Boy tries to explain that he's from a different time and they were in love. She's like, what the fuck, and collapses. Sulky Boy drops her off. Next morning he turns up again and he's like, yo, how's she doing? Her mate is like, bro, fuck off, you hypnotized her or some shit.
और ये जो hypnotism तुम कोशिश कर रहे हो ना करने का, जायशा पे नहीं चलेगा.
Sulky Boy gets angry and leaves. 15 minutes before the movie ends, our antagonist makes his second appearance. His henchmen are like, yo, we've identified the time travelers. He's like, good, good. Meanwhile, Sulky Boy shows up to Zaisha's house. She's like, my mate told me you hypnotized me. He's like, seriously, why the fuck does everyone keep saying that? He confesses his love again and he's like, please believe me in my whack-ass time travel story. Her mates drag her away. Sulky Boy pursues but gets cock-blocked. He drops her diary as he's dragged away and she picks it up. Dr. Hoshi's henchmen show up and try to take Sulky Boy into custody. The battle ensues. These cunts have like lightning shoes because apparently that's going to be a thing in 30 years. They taser stomp his ass, but Robot Girl comes in clutch with the AoE spell. Zaisha starts reading the book and all those memories come rushing back to her. Meanwhile, Dr. Hoshi is like, where the fuck is the time machine? Doc Brown's trapped in a bubble and ain't talking. Dr. Hoshi is like, I'ma tell your nephew if he doesn't surrender himself, I'ma barbecue your ass. Sulky Boy shows up and starts getting tortured in front of Doc Brown. Doc Brown gives in and tells him where the machine is, but plot twist, it wasn't Sulky Boy, it was a random camouflage robot, and the real Sulky Boy is on the roof trying to break in. Dr. Hoshi is like, go kill that boy. Cut to real Sulky Boy and he tries to save Doc Brown.
Uncle, yeah.
This movie randomly turns into Star Wars, but with tube light swords. Sulky Boy frees Uncle, but now he has the impossible task of fighting himself. Now we know where Avengers Endgame got their idea. Sulky Boy's parkour skills from chasing girls in buses finally comes in handy. He makes it all the way to the boss fight. Dr. Hoshi is out here channeling Jinzo. You are dead. Dr. Hoshi blasts him with a fat Hadouken. Doc charges another Hadouken, but can't fool me twice, cunt. He snaps his arm and kicks him all the way down the tower. Nice to see how gravity works in 2050. Meanwhile, the memories are still being copied into her brain. It's only 200 kilobytes per second, so it's taking a while. Sulky Boy shows up and is all like, so do you believe me now? She's like, I do, sweetie. They emotionally hug it out, and she hops on his Kawasaki Ninja 300,000. But wait, whose car is pulling up behind them? None other than Dr. Hoshi himself. I don't want to hear any complaints on how Dr. Hoshi survived that. If Palpatine can fall into the Death Star in 1983 and still show up for a 2019 Star Wars movie, Dr. Hoshi gets a fucking pass. Dr. Hoshi tries to ram him to death, but Sulky Boy's juking skills from earlier come in superior, clutch and save the day. They make it back to the time machine and travel back to 2008, and the movie just ends.
थैंक यू वाहिगुरु मेरी कुड़ी नु मिला था
Holy, that actually might be the worst fucking movie I've ever seen in my life. What the fuck was the point of the scenes between the son and his dad? Their relationship literally never gets brought up again. Hell, the fucking dad himself doesn't even show up again in the movie.
Honestly, I'm tired of you, Karan.
The creators of this movie have some explaining to do.
Way back in 1999, I wrote the script, and everybody said, you're thinking ahead of times. Nobody understand a film like this.
Yes, you were right. We don't understand this film. How have you been working on this since 1999, and this is what you fucking came up with in the end?
This also instantly became the launching pad of my son, Herbert.
Wait, what?
My son, Herbert.
You've been working on this masterpiece since 1999, and you cast your son, who's never acted in a movie before, as the lead character.
यहाँ एक time machine है.
Suddenly, this all makes sense.
Hard work, emotions, passion we put into this film. Come, join me.
This is my vision and this is how we want to do it.
It's a fact.
Lots of detractors. Lots of people till today who are skeptical.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I'd be fucking skeptical after reading a script like that as well.
Dark horse.
Because किसी ने किया ही नहीं अभी तक. हाँ, तो विश्वास
Dark
नहीं
horse.
Yeah.
It's a
Somebody
complete
has to.
dark horse.
Complete dark horse. I agree.
Every time somebody has come and seen even a frame of this film, they've gone out with more than the fact that, wow, badi अच्छी picture hai, I'm going to bring my family to see it. They've gone out with a sense of shock.
Yeah, a fucking electric shock, maybe.
Yeah, there's a fact.
Action!
In her role, it's a very complex role.
Yeah, very
playing
complex.
two distinct characters, and so it's very challenging for her to actually really underline both.
Wow. Just wow. Obviously, so difficult to pull off two such polarizing characters in one film.
Winky Dinks, Karan ko kiss karna hai? Yes. Ooh. Tomorrow's woman that yesterday spoke about.
Amazing.
You are looking great in the film because I don't like to state the obvious.
This is the first futuristic film I have written in my life.
This is a great film.
It's great.
I love how these guys are sitting around discussing this film like they've made 2001 Space Odyssey or some shit.
I must say this, कि इस पिक्चर में 3-4 जो आपकी ट्यून्स हैं वो माइंड ब्लोइंग है.
It's got an epic.
Epic.
Hey you, lover boy, will you be my toy?
To another level.
Whatever, this picture will raise the bar of excellence in Hindi film.
Well, pack it up, boys. There's no point making a movie after this, since the bar is set so unbelievably high.
क्या होता है लोग बातें बड़ी-बड़ी करते हैं.
जी.
लेकिन वो फिर आता नहीं है.
The fucking the irony of this guy saying that after making a movie like this. I actually can't.
क्या होता है लोग बातें बड़ी-बड़ी करते हैं.
All we can do is now keep our fingers crossed and pray to the Lord up there.
All the best and cheers.
The Lord's fucking forsaken you, and I don't blame him.
Pray to God that God blesses us, and that is more important.
The sweat, blood and effort that has gone into this film.
No doubt.
If you made it this far into the video, I'm sorry for putting you through that. We're just gonna have to heal through this together. Also, people asked me to make an Instagram for the channel, so I did. It's just glass_type. One dude even somehow found my Twitter, even though I haven't told anyone that I'd made it, and just slid into the DMs. But I fucking dare you, find me a movie that is as bad as that, and I'll watch it. but I'm pretty sure this is as bad as it gets.
That's by far the most romantic thing you've ever said.
But if you do find one, message me on either of those, and cheers.